All right, it is another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. It has been a little while. We are going to be doing an Escalation League, so this is the Thousand Suns list I'm starting with for the first game of the Escalation League, and I'm playing against some Chaos Knights. For my Thousand Suns, some of you sharp-eyed folks will notice that these are all 30k models. Well, those guys are. This army was built for 30k, and then I discovered how much fun they are in 40k, so no Grey Knights tonight. So this is a sorcerer, just a regular old dude. He's gonna have Doombolt and Temporal Surge. These are all running Cult of Duplicity, so his Warlord trait is the ability to redeploy himself and D3 other units before the game starts, which is lovely. We got 5 Scarab Occult Terminators, and we've got 2 5-man Rubric squads, and that's it. They're pretty boring, simple kind of dudes, but hopefully we can Psychic and we can hold objectives and not die fast enough to outscore the Chaos Knights. Haha, that's my plan. We shall see if it happens or not. And as the league goes on, we'll try to record every one of the games that I'm playing at least, and we'll do recaps and talk about all that stuff. So it'll be lots of fun. All right, folks, this is the Chaos Knights that I'll be playing. A bunch of these, I want to call them Armigers, but I know that's not the right term. So,
War Dogs.
These are the War Dogs. They get better names than the Imperial Knights. It is more fun that way. I know this one's the Warlord, and he doesn't have that particular gun. We got here and discovered the wrong gun was attached. They're all magnetized. It happens. But this is the Warlord. Tell me about your Warlord trait and what he does.
So that is my War Dog Stalker. He has a couple of cool upgrades. All the Knights have cool upgrades because the whole point of Chaos Knights is you can build them however you want, really.
And they do mean things.
Yeah. So the War Dog Stalker has a couple of things. For a Warlord trait, he has Warp Haunted Hull, which means in a 12-inch bubble around him, you get -2 to cast.
Ooh. Yeah, that's mean.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he has the Reaper Chain Talon. This was supposed to be a Demon Breath Spear, but it's not, but it is. And then a Diabolus Heavy Stubber instead of the expensive Carapace weapon, because it's bad anyway.
Yes.
Over here, we have a War Dog Executioner.
I'm not going to say that name every time.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of cool things going on here. It has the Mirror of Fate's blessing, which means anytime that you spend a CP, I can roll a d6. On a 5 I get a free CP.
Yes.
And he gets to just sit way back because he's a 30-inch gun.
Yep.
And then over here we have a War Dog Carnivore, which is a real cool guy. He does a lot of stuff.
It's real cool. He looks like he's kitted out for melee mostly, right?
He is.
Yeah.
So we've got a Reaper Chain Talon on this side, not the other one. No, it is that one. And a Slaughter Claw. So it's melee. And then the same Diabolus Heavy Stubber up here.
Cool.
In addition, he also has a Warlord trait and a relic. So it has the Mask of Dogs relic that gives it +1 attack, and it can reroll hits of 1.
Oh, nice.
And then for Warlord trait, it's got Eager for the Kill, so it gets +1 to charge, and if it's in your deployment zone, he gets an extra attack.
In my deployment zone or yours?
In your deployment zone.
Oh, okay, okay.
On top of that, it has the Blood Shield blessing, which means once per game, I can just turn off invulns for that fight.
Nice, nice. In melee only?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's saucy. Cool. Well, there you have it. This is the 500 points of Chaos Knights that I will be facing against. Yes, that's how that works. And I've never played Chaos Knights, so I'm excited / a little nervous. We'll be back in a minute. We'll show you the mission. We'll show you the terrain, the layout, and the deployment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have rolled, we have deployed, and we're playing. He just told me the name of it, and I just forgot. We've got deployment zones on this side, this side. Part of the reason I'm forgetting is we're using 2 older missions for the 500-point games for this league, and then we're moving back to the Nephilim, but we're still playing Nephilim rules. So that doesn't help my brain at all. But you've got 4 objective markers. This one does have the optional secondary where if you hold... I think this was A and A at the same time, you get 4 points. If you hold B and B at the same time at the end of your turn, you get 2 points. Neither of us chose to take that, surprisingly. Not. And I think that's really all there is to say about that. Deployment's not very tricky for these fellers over here. My deployment also not terribly tricky, but I did spend 2 CP to have my rubrics rise from the dust onto an objective. Haha! Because I have taken... Mutate Landscape, Wrath of Magnus, and Behind Enemy Lines, and you gotta mutate Landscape before it gets stepped on by the enemy because it's hard to get them off until you kill them, and then that stops you from scoring points. I may or may not have experienced this, and it was unfortunate. Then we have Storm of Darkness, Ruthless Tyranny, and Grind Them Down for the Chaos Knights. And that, I believe, is all that we really need to say about that. So, Brian, we're going to roll. We're going to see who goes first. Go ahead. He starts with a 3. I answer with a 4. Oh, just like for deployment.
Marvelous.
Swell. So the Thousand Suns are going to go first, and we'll be back after turn 1. Alright, so the end of the Thousand Suns turn 1. Move these guys out. I did my redeploy basically with the Warlord, so the Warlord and Termes went there. They have the -1 to be shot at. These guys over here did Mutate Landscape, and then it was denied because I was just in range of his one-time deny. And it was very unfortunate. He beat me by 1 point. That's all you need. I did move the Terminator out. He did cast a Doom Bolt into that melee-based guy, and we shot into him, and we used Cabal points, and we took, I think, 5 wounds in total. Yeah. Which is better than nothing. It is a start. I did have to spend a CP to recast on his teleport one. And I probably shouldn't have teleported him, but I kind of wanted to get a Witchfire and a Blessing spell off so I could get 2 points on Wrath of Magnus after he shut down my Mutate Landscape. It was very disappointing. So that's pretty much all I got to do this turn, and he's hanging out in the wind, so he's probably going to die, but that's okay. We'll come back after Chaos Knights, turn 1. This is the end of the Chaos Knights turn 1. I made the bad mistake of putting my character out there and forgetting I'd spent my command point to do so, which is why he stayed there, then he died. It was inglorious, and I'm embarrassed. It happens. He charged in, he killed 2 of these dudes. This dude back here with his Demon's Breath wiped out a Terminator. Yes. And that's that. He did pick up 3 points on Ruthless Tyranny, and he got grind him down. So shame on me for feeding him extra victory points. Haha. And then we'll go to Thousand Suns, turn 2 next. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of Thousand Suns turn 2. These guys did lots of shooting. We did some Psychic, that was terrible. We were denied once again with Mutate Landscape. We're within 12 inches of his stupid little helmety thingy, which means it's -2 to cast, even with a +1 to cast. I did fail a smite over here, and they took perils because that's cool. We did some smiting, and then we did some spinning of CPs to teleport. Those guys jumped back in that back corner, so we get behind enemy lines, and then we shot him to death and he died. And that was it. So that will bring us to Chaos Knights, turn 2. Alright, so the end of Chaos Knights, it was turn 2. We did some shooting, we did some charging. I lost 2 more of my Terminators, and I think, yeah, 2.5. No, that was it. This was amazing. I lost 1 wound, and then his swinging and chopping and melee did absolutely nothing. It was phenomenal. And then I did 4 wounds on him. It was great. So yeah, that's the end of that. So where we're at is very close in the points. I still got 3 guys back there. We've both only held 1 objective in this turn, at the start of our turn, and then he's ahead of me on some of the secondaries with his Ruthless Tyranny, and then otherwise we're very even. So we'll be back in a minute after the Thousand Suns turn 3. It is now the end of the Thousand Suns turn 3. So I came around over here, we shot at him, he didn't take any damage because it is what it is, and I only had the 2 Terminators to shoot. Then we charged, then we did the fighting, we wounded him a few times, he slapped my rubrics, and I took 2 wounds, so I lost a hurt guy and took a wound on him, and that was the end of that. These guys in the back did use Sorceress Facade to teleport onto that objective, and I'm still in the deployment zone, so I get behind enemy lines. And he denied Mutate Landscape again. This guy has got to die. It's killing me. I have lost 9 points on Mutate Landscape. 12 points on Mutate Landscape now because of his deny with his cheeky whatever helmet warp. I don't know. It's annoying. I'm trying to kill him very slowly. He was delighted, though, that this time my Rubric Marines did not scratch the paint on his big nasty. So, that is the end of Thousand Suns turn 3. Going into Chaos Knights turn 3. We'll see what he leaves behind after this turn. It'll be interesting. It is now the end of the Chaos Knights turn 3. I'm not feeling as happy as I was at the beginning of this turn. That guy decided to obliterate those guys, which I kind of saw coming, but I had to leave them out a little bit open so I could still be behind enemy lines and be on the objective, and it just didn't work with my dice. That was a terrible thing. Oh, also, Mr. Brian rolled 10 shots on his D3 cannons.
Yeah.
And wounded with all but 2.
Yeah.
And I failed all but 2, something like that. There was no hope that they said, no, we're done. We're tired of this game.
It's the Zinch Knight.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Over here, I got shot in the face with a demon's breath, whatever thing. That guy died, the Terminator. Then he smacked the Terminator in melee, and this time all of his melee came in strong and hot, and he overkilled my Terminator by 4 models worth of wounds. It was ridiculous. These guys almost did it. We whittled him down to 2, and I got a wound through with my stave, and I rolled a 1 on the damage. And I'd already used my dice for something else that I shouldn't have tried to re-roll. Otherwise, I would have re-rolled that. But yeah, this guy has now achieved new levels of whatever infernal blessings you want to call him, where I can't even target him with Psychic. So I'm very annoyed, because that was kind of my go-to. And then he killed my Terminators, and then he got better, and so I'm in a bit of a pickle here, folks. That's what it boils down to. So we'll come back with Thousand Suns turn 4 and see if I can do anything to redeem this game and or my points. We'll be back in a minute. It is the end of Thousand Suns turn 4. I'm disappointed. So, Mr. Dog Collar of Doom, some brass collar thingamajig, I hate it, that makes the -2 to cast spells, which has already come into play more than once tonight. And then, because he killed so many things, I can't target him with psychic powers, also came into play. So, my big brain said, fine, I will use Sorcerer's Facade, I will teleport away, and then I rolled a 7, which becomes not a 7, and you need an 8 to cast it anyways. So then I spent my CP to re-roll it because he has the ability to make me take perils on a failed psychic test, again, because of shenanigans and collars and things. So I failed the psychic test a second time, took the perils, lost a dude, right? There was a hurt guy, he took 1 mortal wound, he died. So none of my teleporting worked out. So then I thought, hey, look, I forgot about my plasma pistol last turn. I probably should have shot him last turn. So I shot him. I overcharged it because he only has 2 wounds left. And I missed. Rolled a 2. He's not dead, but it didn't do any good. And then he saved the 1 wound that got through. So this thing is standing tall after it killed 2 more of my rubrics. That's all I gotta say about that.
We're having fun.
I had plans. Well, I am definitely having fun. I had hopes. I had high hopes for the rubrics. They were gonna teleport away, sit over there, make it harder for that guy to shoot them off in one go, and then they were gonna shoot everything into this guy, and then I was gonna be excited because he might actually fail some saves. You know, it was a thought. It was a great, happy feeling, and now it's not going to happen. So we'll be back after he kills me in turn 4, and we'll tell you what the final score is. And I've learned many things about Chaos Knights. They're interesting. Well, the end ultimately has come, and he didn't kill me in shooting, and then I didn't kill him in melee again, and then he killed me in melee. So, you know, it is what it is. In melee, this dude did really good the last 2 turns. The first 2 turns, less so. That guy managed to complete Storm of Darkness twice now for the 4th turn and the 5th turn.
Well, technically, they each completed once.
Oh, sorry, that's true. Yeah, does it matter which one does it?
No.
Okay, but yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I just wondered if there was a rule about it. So we got 6 points out of Storm of Darkness. Ruthless Tyranny, he maxed out at more than 15. And he got 9 on Grind Them Down. And then he did good on the primary. So he ended up with a total score of the Chaos Knights here of 70 points. I did not expect to suffer nearly so much from his anti-psychic shenanigans over there. So I got nothing for Mutate. I scored a whole 6 on Wrath of Magnus, and then I got 4 for Behind Enemy Lines before I was really destroyed. And I only got 5 on primary, and that was the 2nd turn of the game. It was terrible. These guys counting as 5 and then him forgetting to die. like 2 turns ago when I thought he should have died and then he didn't.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
very disappointing. So it was really cool. It was very interesting. I horribly underestimated the backlash from his collar, and the different things going on there was pretty wild. And he denied every single attempt at mutate landscape very handily. I cast poorly one of those 3 attempts, but 2 of the attempts I casted on like a 9 and a 10, and he just rolled an 11 and a 12 and said, no, not today. I was sad. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Brian, for the game.
Both teams gave it 110% by the end of the day.
We did. Yeah, I can think of a mistake I made that was a singular whopping mistake. Beyond that, there wasn't a whole lot to say other than he played a good game. I played a decent game, but the points were bad for me. So that's game 1 in the league. We'll come back. We have another 500-point game to play before we up the ante up to 1,000-point games. So the next game you'll see on the channel will be another 500 points. Probably going to leave the list the same because it has potential to play better than what I did. So I'm not going to mess with that. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Brian. Appreciated the game. I only lasted to turn 4. It's kind of sad. Yeah, it is what it is. And we'll be back for the next Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report.